Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are we?
I'm a lot better than Gary O'Neill, as he has
Well,
just been sacked.
funnily enough, that was on my things to talk about this morning. Will Gary O'Neill have a job much longer? And apparently, we didn't even get to 20 seconds in, and no, he doesn't.
No, he is. He's jobless, mate. He's on
Well,
the
it was
dole.
coming. It had to be coming. I mean, they looked really bad again yesterday.
What is their deal then with fighting after the game, but not fighting during the game?
I-
Because
I'm-
I didn't see him put up any fight during the match. I mean, granted, I did watch the extended highlights because I couldn't bring myself to watch the full game, but they didn't seem to put up any fight at all during the game, and then the last two games have had a scrap afterwards.
it's funny because I've watched the highlights this morning, and I literally noted Kuna steals a man's glasses.
Is that what he did? What about the other guy? That is it, Nuri or something?
Yeah, he had a. I don't know what. Didn't really show what happened with him. He just showed him getting
Well,
like dragged down
You know
the
what it
tunnel.
reminded me of? You know when you've got like a drunk mate at the pub who wants to fight everybody, and the only reason he wants to fight everybody because he knows he's got 10 people holding him back. They should have just let him go because I'm not sure who we're going to fight. I mean, he's only 5'4" or something. I mean, who are he going to hurt? They were only saying it because he got 3 people carrying him off a pitch. I just said, "Go on, mate. Go on, what are you going to do?"
But yeah, Kuna actually he elbows one of the Ipswich staff in the back of the head. So the guy turns around, so he steals his glasses.
I don't even know where to go with it. I saw nothing from them on the pitch that said, "Well, they're up for a fight." And then after both games, that 2 games in a row now, and they've had a fight after.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I mean, they play Tottenham? Who did they fight with? They were fighting with somebody else, though, weren't they?
I can't remember who now.
They're pathetic.
But they were the reason they were kicking off apparently was the winning goal. Now, when I watched it initially, I didn't see anything wrong, but then on replay, I can kind of see where the a bit upset the Ipswich player who stood in front of the goalkeeper. Now we've seen them in the past be ruled out for interfering with play, but this time they just ignored it. So I think that's what they were annoyed about.
I didn't even notice that. To be fair, I was too busy just once I'd seen them start fights, I just thought, just turn it off. It's fucking idiots, morons. I mean,
but yeah,
I could understand it if they'd been fighting all game and they'd put in a decent performance and lost it on a last-minute goal, but they were crap all game, and then
because they are.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Don't fight after the whistle if you're not prepared to fight during the game. Do you?
Yeah, they were just bad. But for a change, I kind of sat and watched every game, and I was quite prepared. So I've made a lot of notes on yesterday's, and a lot of it is just.
To be fair, the games yesterday were brilliant, very good games, weren't they? Arsenal played somebody.
Everton.
That was a decent game. Arsenal are shy of a striker, aren't they?
Arsenal have been shy of a striker for 3 years.
And I mean, I don't know about you, but there's one glaring striker in the Premier League that Arsenal need to sign. I don't like Arsenal, so I don't want them to sign him, but they need to sign Isak or whatever the freaking.
Well, it was apparently rumoured last summer that might happen and didn't happen.
He is a class act. Absolutely. I mean, he was involved in everything Newcastle did yesterday. He's brilliant.
My only concern's ever been with Isak is he can occasionally just do really silly things. So he was through 1-on-1 yesterday and just basically toe punch at the goalkeeper.
But he's still quite young, I think, isn't he? I think he's in his early 20s, isn't he? So he's still relatively young. And with the super coach of Arteta coaching him, then he should be able to grow and be a better player, shouldn't he? But I do think, definitely, if Arsenal want to win the title, because they're not going to win it this season, they need a striker and they need him.
I said they've needed a striker for 3 years. They brought in Jesus for some unknown reason because they thought that was the answer to the problems. They then played Havertz up top for a while. He's not the answer to anybody's problems. I know he's done better at Arsenal, but he's still not a good footballer.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
But you look at the Arsenal team, though, and they should be doing better than what they are. A lot better for me. Because to me, they've got a very good team.
Arteta's lauded as the saviour of Arsenal and the next best thing to Pep. I don't agree at all that he's anything close to it. I think he's got a very good. I think they've assembled a very good team, and he's doing okay.
Yeah, he is.
I don't
That's all
think
he's
he's
doing.
doing anything better than that. I think
No.
you look at yesterday. If you're serious about winning the title, you win that game yesterday. I just didn't see Arsenal winning it. I didn't see them going all out and no matter what winning that game. They just don't look like they're that good.
No, because they've kind of become a team dependent on set pieces right now.
Yeah, which says a lot about their coaching then, doesn't it? Because if that's all they've really got in their Arsenal, then what's he coaching them week in, week out? Why have they not got any better from 2 seasons ago?
I think when you look at their outfield play and their attacking play, they've actually got worse. I mean, when you looked at Arsenal probably last season and the season before, granted, I know they bottled it back end of 2 seasons ago, but going forward, they were exciting to watch and you will always look like they were going to score. Yesterday, granted, I know I only get the highlights, it didn't look particularly
they seem
threatening.
to have gone back to being solid at the back, don't
Yeah.
concede any goals, try and win it on the 1-0 to the Arsenal type of approach, which is kind of totally against what Arteta was all about, isn't it? It was meant to be the complete footballer, the
Which,
pep.
I said, 2 seasons ago, 18 months ago, you just said they were doing. But it seems to be, has he run out of ideas? Has he not got the right players in the right position? So he's got a lot of very good midfielders, but the top end of the pitch to me is weak. I don't think Havertz is never going to be an answer.
It's almost like Man United's midfield, isn't it? When we had Scott McTominay and Fred. And how many years did we say we haven't replaced Roy Keane for? We haven't replaced Paul Scholes for? We never did. Arsenal haven't replaced strikers, have they? They haven't replaced the likes of Thierry Henry and Robin van Persie. How many years are they going to go on without going out and buying a proper striker? It just seems they're not going to, they'll splash millions on midfielders and centre halves. Go out and buy a striker. Go out and buy an Erling Haaland and an Isak. You can buy Marcus Rashford if you want. I'll sell him. Take him.
I mean, there were rumours they were going to buy Ivan Toney, wasn't there? Until he went off to Saudi Arabia. I mean, that was kind of...
But why let him go there? Surely Arsenal could have made him a proposition that said he was still getting paid good money. I mean, I said this at the time. He could have still got good money in the Premier League. All right, I wouldn't have got 400 grand a week, but he could have got 160, 150, 180 grand a week from Arsenal. And you wouldn't have laughed at him for paying that. What is it, 27? So he's still got he's still got a 4 or 5 year contract in him to be able to score them enough goals. And he's exactly what they need. Somebody who gets in the box and puts the ball in the net. And that's what they don't have. I mean, they bought Jesus from Man City. And Man City must have been laughing their heads off when they sold him because they think he had 6 months of being decent. He's absolutely shite. He's not a striker.
He was never going to be a prolific goal scorer. He never has been. It was never going to be what they needed to take him to the next level.
They bought him because I'm guessing they bought him because Arteta probably, I don't know if Arteta had some dealings with him when he was at City at the same time. I'm guessing they were. But they bought him as a striker, didn't they? Because they didn't need another inverted winger. They've got more of them than fucking anyone else. They bought him as a striker.
In the end, the buying of Jesus looked a little bit like a Man United signing of desperation. We need somebody who can play up front, so we'll just buy the guy that's there.
They bought an attacking player, didn't they? They're exactly right. That's what Man United do. They come to end at summer and think, we haven't bought an attacking player. We need one. We'll go and spend 70 million on some guy that nobody ever heard of. They've gone and paid good money for Jesus to solve a problem that wasn't there, which is the wide people. What they needed was to go and buy a proper striker. And I know there's not a lot of them about. I know it's easy to just sit here and say buy a striker. But you're Arsenal. You're trying to win the Premier League. You're not telling me that there's not a striker out there that you can find to buy. Newcastle found Isak. City managed to get Haaland. Why can't Arsenal go out and buy somebody like that?
Yeah, and especially when they were on the up for the last 2 seasons, surely...
I just realised that they bought Sterling again.
Yeah, they did, because...
Why is that?
I don't know why.
I mean, he's not even played.
I don't think the Arsenal fans were quite happy about it and thought he'd be a good signing.
Well, they will be because they're gullible, aren't they?
I just don't get it.
It's just, just don't. I don't know. It don't make a lot of sense to me, them at the moment. They're not going to win the league anyway because they're not catching the gap up to people at the minute.
But then Liverpool yesterday also slipped up, which we said eventually has got to happen. with the squad they've got and the team they've got, they couldn't keep the form and the run going that they were on. I think they were a little bit unlucky yesterday. I don't quite understand.
I said at the time
the decisions.
Of all the performances Liverpool put in recently, that was probably one of their best with 10 men, and probably should have won that game, and didn't win that game. Whereas of the other games, you've looked at them and thought, how have they fucking won that?
I don't understand how they've ended up down to 10 men. I genuinely don't.
I mean, I don't know if I've missed something, but I couldn't see why it weren't.
Because he plays advantage and Fulham get the shot away. Just because he messes up the shot doesn't mean they've not had the advantage. I don't get it. So Robertson takes him out, fine. I get that. That is, yeah. But the Fulham player then runs onto the ball and chips it over the crossbar trying to clear the goalkeeper. Now that's your advantage. You've gone on and had a shot. So why do we then pull it back?
Why have I missed that? I didn't see that bit.
And I don't understand how that's a thing. That then you can say, oh, well, he's not had an advantage. Well, you have.
I mean, it's a total fuck up with it because the referee should just blow straight away. I suppose, I don't know. I don't know because if he blows straight away and stops the game, you've got to say, well, they were thrown goal. Does he go and score? But I don't know. It is.
But then just because he doesn't score, surely you don't then go back and go, well, I probably should have given you that, so I'll do it anyway.
But if it were a yellow card, he'd have gone back and booked him, wouldn't
he? Well, yeah, true.
I'm not agreeing with that. Disagreeing because to be fair, I don't know. I've not seen this. I saw Robertson. I put down Robertson 100% red card. I don't remember seeing him going on taking a shot. But
yeah, he chips it up a goalkeeper and clears.
If it's a yellow card, he goes back and books him, doesn't it? It is a bit odd with a red card to do that. Yeah, I do agree with that. It's a bit. I don't know. I don't know what I think about that.
But then there's one in the first half, the other way around. The Fulham player goes in high on Gakpo, I think it is. And that became a weird one because I'm pretty sure they said VAR looked at it and then the referee issued a yellow card, which I don't understand. Because if VAR's saying it's not a red, they can't tell him to issue a yellow.
Like me and you have watched two totally different games.
I could probably get different highlights than you.
Have I watched Liverpool Fulham from last year? By accident? I'm missing all this.
Yeah, I just...
I mean, how are Fulham not going on and won that? I don't know. I mean, Fulham were defending like they got 10 men, and Liverpool were playing like they got 11 men. It was a very odd game, wasn't it? I mean, it was a great game. Don't get me wrong.
Did you see the one at the end though? The penalty shout for Liverpool. Please tell me you've seen that.
Have I watched the worst highlights in the world? They're not showing me any of the actual highlights.
So literally, with a couple of minutes to go, I think it's Gakpo again that goes to take a shot. Now the defender's running. No, the defender runs across and cleans out the attacker. So Liverpool go up in arms for a penalty. Apparently VAR said it wasn't a penalty because he made a genuine attempt to block the ball. He didn't block the ball. He didn't get anywhere near it. He wiped out the attacker in the middle of the penalty area. But a genuine attempt to block the ball, so it's just not a foul.
Go back to this again, isn't it? What's this genuine attempt bullshit that they're coming out with?
There's three from yesterday that I'm going to go through. They're all these genuine attempts again.
A footballer, when he goes on the pitch, is making a genuine attempt to play the ball. That's his fucking job. What? Unless you're Cunha sneaking someone's glasses at full time. Your coach is trying genuine attempt to play the ball. When he goes in, he's making a genuine attempt. Unless, the odd time when it's Roy Keane on Alfie Haaland or whatever it's called, yeah. But why is that even relevant?
I don't know.
What he meant to... Well, we're going back to this again. What he meant to do is fucking irrelevant. What did he do?
He wiped out the attacker.
So it's a fucking penalty then. I mean,
exactly.
Again, I haven't seen it. I don't know why. I don't know what's happened. I've seen Jota's goal, which was fucking brilliant. But I can't see it. The pressure on Jota to score that goal at 1-0 down, he's classy. If he could stay fit, he's absolutely world class, but he can't. So it's irrelevant conversation. But no, all this intent. It's like, you can get sent off for intending to injure someone. It's like, well, did he injure him? If he didn't injure him, then it's not a red card, is it?
But then the other one, which is in the Villa Forest game, did your highlights show this penalty that should have been?
No.
You're going to say no? You are watching football from 2024, aren't you?
Not so sure. Villa Forest.
So it ends up 2-1 Forest.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I've seen the goals.
Villa player runs into the penalty area. The defender pulls his arm and keeps pulling him and keeps pulling. The guy goes down, but VAR said he didn't pull him long enough for it to make a significant impact. Pulled him to the floor with an arm.
What does he want him to do? Pull him out half a pitch? Not wrestling.
But yeah, literally, the VAR said it weren't a long enough of an arm pull. What?
How long?
You should never be pulling an arm. Pulling an arm is not a tackle in football.
No, it's not. It's not a legal way of. So how long do you have to pull his arm before it's a foul then?
I don't know.
Again, they made a rule and then caveated the rule with a stupid side rule, which makes no sense to nobody. If you pull somebody's arm in football, it's a foul. You play football with your fucking feet.
But it's, yes. Again, yesterday, so that's 3 decisions that I've looked at and gone, I don't understand the rules, or I certainly don't understand VAR and how we've got to the decisions that we've got, because we're making, like I said, these random caveats of it probably is a foul, but he's not fouled him long enough.
We're not going to give it this time because he's not fouled him for long enough.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what they said.
Tidy. No, I don't. I mean, I thought Villa Forest game were brilliant. I mean, where are Forest coming from?
They're now probably like fourth
or something. I need to see the table. Where's the table? Premier League table. Forest are fourth. Yeah, 28 points, 2 off Arsenal. So they're a point ahead of City. That's crazy. 1-8, drawn 4, lost 4. I mean, now Forest.
Yeah, and what were they? 2 seasons ago, last day they stayed up, or was it even last season? Maybe
Wolves have just sacked their manager, and that was their manager, isn't it? It was now the Forest manager.
Yeah. Nuno Espirito Santo, whatever they call him.
Yeah, I mean, he's got sacked from Spurs, left Wolves, and got sacked or what, and now he's flying out with Forest.
He clearly needs a lot of players to work well.
But we said this before, haven't we? I mean, Chelsea are second and Forest are fourth, and they've bought probably 80% of the players that have come into Premier League in the last 4 years.
I mean, I know in the end Villa lost, but did you see the Martinez save?
I saw it at the time, but it didn't show me a close-up of it. I've seen the stills of it afterwards, and it's, a proper save, that, isn't it?
It's unreal. It's behind him.
And then he goes and... Do you see how he makes up for it, though, with the last goal when he carries it into his own net?
He's hard on that one because he's...
fall into the net, holding ball.
He's going across at such speed that it kind of bounces off his hands and drops in. I don't think you can really blame him for that one. But the save earlier in the game is unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. I see the save, but it doesn't show you close enough up. It shows you the still of like how he contorts his body to get his arm basically alongside his shin.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable save.
I mean, if Villa's season continues to be as up and down as it is, surely a top club in the Premier League's got to be looking at him. And I'm not saying Villa are not a top club right now. Obviously, they're in the Champions League. But your likes of City, Liverpool, Arsenal, even Chelsea, have got to be looking at him thinking he's again been voted the world's best goalkeeper for the 2nd year running. He's not going to win much at Villa. Surely he's going to be looking for another challenge. Surely.
Yeah, the problem is Arsenal have signed their keeper, haven't they, David Raya, and they're back in. Liverpool got Alisson. Chelsea have signed that guy from Wigan. He's all right. I suppose he could go to Chelsea. He could end up with Man United with Onana throwing ball about as he is. So
I didn't include Man United in that sentence for the simple reason that right now it's a step backwards.
Yeah, we're 13th.
Yeah, it's a rather large step backwards.
I mean, technically, by the end of today, we could be behind West Ham. Well, one of the worst teams I've watched this season.
Yeah,
yeah.
We'll come on to that game in a bit because
all I need to say about that.
Mm.
So Forest are absolutely flying, aren't they? I mean,
they really are.
Keeps scoring as well. Duran, doesn't he?
Duran keeps scoring, but Chris Wood now apparently is a genuine goal threat
striker. I mean, he scored and got disallowed, didn't he?
Yes,
which was unlucky. But yeah, he's just totally ripping the league up. Duran and Chris Wood.
He was woeful at Newcastle and Burnley, and I mean truly woeful.
I mean, this Duran's played somewhere else before. I'm sure he has. He's not new.
He's only 21 though, isn't he?
I don't know where he's from, but
very young.
Played for somebody else before Villa and wasn't very good. And I don't know who it was.
No,
maybe on loan. I don't know, but he's been somewhere, and I've seen him play and thought he's crap, but he can score a goal. Give him that much.
So basically, you've improved his career. Well done, you.
Yeah, good job we never a scouts, isn't it? Because I'd have been out of a job very quickly. Who else were there then? Newcastle? Oh, they ran riot, didn't they, against
Leicester. Van Nistelrooy's got a hard job on his hands there.
Yeah, Isak were brilliant there. I mean, like I say, ran the game, but yeah, they are absolutely. I mean, equalised. What were it? 4-0? Should have been 6-0.
It could have been 8. Genuinely could have been 8.
Literally running riot, weren't they? Like I say, Isak went through 1-on-1 and decided to take pity on and pass it to keeper, didn't he?
I mean, again, quite impressive that 7 days ago I said the Newcastle project's faltering, and then they go back to Leicester 4-0 and look amazing.
Well, they could send us a bit of sponsorship money and post if they want. Because we've helped them out. We're helping us so many. I mean, Everton are at bottom 3 now after we help them.
Yep.
Yeah, we've. I mean, the only team we can't help is Southampton because I don't even think Pep could help them. I mean, fuck me, that guy.
Even our curse is not that strong.
I mean, unless a bit. Did you see his comments about the supposed Man United bid for the young lad they've got?
No.
So Man United have supposedly, according to him, bid 21 or 25 million for the young lad they've got, Dibley.
Oh yeah.
You won't even buy his left leg for that. I'm like, you do realise in 4 months' time you'll be relegated to the Championship and he will walk away for nothing.
And it ain't going to be 4 months because they're down by February.
Just be careful what you wish for. You're getting a little bit. I mean, it looks like one of the managers that start to go wrong is getting a little bit fucking arrogant now and a little bit cocky. I'm not saying the bid is right, but don't be saying that you want double your money because you're going to be in Championship in a couple of months' time.
We said from week 1 he's arrogant. He's got this cocky attitude that his way's right, his way's perfect, his way will work. His way will get him relegated by February.
Yeah,
genuinely.
I've said about Amorim when he comes in, I don't want him to switch from this. People are already saying now he needs to switch from this 3-5-3, 3-4-3, whatever we're playing, back to a 4. I don't want him to because that's the way he's coming and way he's doing it. But if it starts to go wrong, horrific, if in another 8 games the results haven't picked up, then he has got to change. Don't be arrogant enough to think that what you do is the right way. Change. Don't do
absolutely, yeah,
like he did at Burnley, Vincent Kompany. It doesn't make you Vincent Kompany's gone to Bayern and he's doing all right. So he's obviously not a bad manager. But don't come in and say, I'm this manager and this is how I play. You have to play what's best for your players. Do you think that Sam Allardyce can only play football one way or Sean Dyche can only play football one way? No. They play to the strengths of the team. That's why they always get results. Because they look at the team and think, oh, my best players, where do I put them to get them the best results? They play defensive football because they generally go into poor teams. They've got poor players. They don't go and play expansive football with some of the players they've got. People are going into these football clubs thinking that Southampton come in and play Man City style football. I mean, they've got some of the shittest players in the Premier League. How are they possibly going to play like that? Why don't they just bank up and start getting points on the board rather than trying to play fantastic football like Burnley did? I mean, where have Burnley gone? Back down again straight away.
Yeah, it's a strange mentality that a lot of managers are now just buying into, that we have to play this style of football. We have to do everything that Pep does, instead of, like you said, looking at what Sean Dyche does and go, it gets results and it'll keep me in Premier League, which is actually the most important thing. Not looking good, it's staying up.
It's play the football. Like people have said to me, you would never have took Sam Allardyce at Man United. I'm like, well, I don't know that because he never got a big job, did he? But I don't think he'd have done a bad job. Because he'd have gone in, he obviously can assess a team and see who are the right players to play and who are the wrong players to play. And he plays to the team's strengths. That's why he's kept so many teams up or got so many teams back up.
And the first thing he would have done was shored up the defence.
That's a feat in itself. You can go into a club and say, right, these are my best players. These are my worst players. I've got 15 players that are capable of playing, right? I've got, so many of these players in this position, right? I need to play 4-4-2, or I need to play 4-5-1, or I need to play 3-4-3. You can do that. That gives you a foothold already. A manager coming in saying, I only play 3-4-3 is disaster written all over it, or 4-4-2, because you've got to adapt to who you've got. If Amorim in 5 or 6 games is, won 3, lost 3, he's going to have to change things because you can't just keep playing your way if it doesn't work.
Oh, no, absolutely. And I suppose you can, if you are at the top level, like Pep, will continue to do what Pep's done. They haven't won in 10.
So long, haven't we? it's easy to not easy to do. That's the wrong way, but it's easier to do it with City because you're almost 1-0 up before you go out there. City can afford to go 1-0 down and probably still come back and win, like Liverpool at the minute. They can afford to go 1-0 down and still come back and win. If you're Southampton, you can't afford to concede a goal within the first 5-10 minutes and think, "Oh, we'll just come back and win because we're that good." You're not.
No, they've sort of got to get to the hour mark thinking we've not conceded a goal or we're not losing, and then try and nick something.
If you're Southampton, you need to not concede first. That is your main job. Don't worry about anything else. Just don't concede first. If you could score first, 60 minutes, 70 minutes, 80 minutes, you're in with a chance of winning. If you're going to be 1-0 and 2-0 down after 15 and 20 minutes, you've got no chance. Not a chance in hell of getting in. But they've got 5 points from 15 games. I mean, at this rate, what are they going to get? 12 points? 13 points?
Looking at the average, you're going to be somewhere around there. I mean, you're borderline going to be looking at Derby, who got 9.
I mean,
sort of bad.
That's horrendous, isn't it? I mean, they've got a minus 20 goal difference after 15 games.
Yeah.
They've won one, so I know who they beat. Who did they beat? They beat Man United. Probably.
Could have been quite easily. Everybody beats Man United, let's be honest.
Did we actually beat them? They beat somebody anyway. They beat Ipswich, I think.
I think it was somebody low down at the bottom end, but it's again, it's like we've said though, teams like Leicester could probably end up getting lucky that Wolves are that bad, Southampton are that bad, and the third team might drop in that your likes of West Ham, Leicester, Everton could survive just based on the third team being
so close to drop zone. I mean, they're literally
Palace are looking bad.
Point above Ipswich at the minute. I mean, but again, they keep picking bad manager after bad manager. They sack them after 6-7 months. I mean, they sacked Patrick Vieira, and all right, it wasn't going great, but they were safe.
Yeah.
Give him time. It's, again, these managers don't get time to do anything, do they? You know, they get 7-8 months. So what can you do in 8 months with a team that's already shite? You know, you can bring in 1 or 2 players. You've got no money generally, these teams at bottom. You've got no money to bring anybody in. You have to bring in loan players, which just fucks you up for next season because they leave. So your best players are generally the ones you loan in and then they leave.
Yeah.
They don't get any time to put anything together, do they? You look at all the best managers and what did they always get? Time. You look at Sam Allardyce you look at Moyes at Everton and Fergie, Wenger. They all got time at the club to build a team. And, Arsenal have done the same with Arteta because it started bad for Arteta. They've given him time to at least put something together so they can justify where they are. These teams at bottom, always the teams at the bottom are always firing the manager left, right and centre. And they just wonder why it doesn't work.
I suppose the other side of that coin is if it is going bad with your current manager, you've only got, it's a 10-month season, 9-month season. You can't leave it too long because if it continues to slide, you're just going to get relegated. And then the fans are going to say, why did we not change it?
How many teams have changed their manager and stayed up?
True.
I don't think many. I mean, I can't back that up with a stat, but just thinking about it, how many teams that are in the bottom 3 sack the manager and actually stay up? Generally, what happens is the new manager takes you down and then tries to bring you back up. I would say the best manager to get you back up if you think you're going down was the manager who got you up in the first place.
Yeah, true.
There's no better CV than the guy that actually got you promoted 8-9 months previous, is there?
No, that's true.
If you already think you're going to go down, consolidate and go again next season and do it better when you come back up. Build a better team to come back up, just as fast and be a bit better next time. Don't just sacking managers left, right, and centre just doesn't fucking work. And they prove this. I mean, you don't have to be a genius to see that everyone who keeps sacking the manager usually gets relegated. That's what concerns me about Man United. 13th keeps sacking as managers. I mean, we're only
in danger of
7 points above Ipswich.
I mean, if you lose today, it starts to look really grim.
Oh yeah, I'm aware of this.
So nice.
We're climbing up that Europa League table.
Oh, great! You're up the Europa League table after beating. Who did you beat this week?
For that table. We'll be in Champions League next week. That's how it works.
I don't even know who you beat, to be quite honest.
I mean, I've never heard of them.
Standard for that competition.
I mean, when you see the initials in the top left when you're watching a game and you think, oh, who the fuck are they then?
Victoria Pisen.
Yeah, that's them. Yeah. And they're Dutch, no?
I ain't got a clue, but you managed to scrape a 2-1 win.
2-1 win. Let's bring Hoyland off the bench to win. Yeah, 2 goals. But yeah, I don't know who we're playing. I mean, obviously lately everyone seems to be thinking this is the greatest competition ever in the world. We're all going to have Champions League, how good it is. Never seen games like it.
Like that. Oh, you're now in the top 7. I mean, you were 13th a week ago.
We're probably top by next week.
Well, you are only 4 points off top, to be fair.
We've got Rangers too. I mean, they're crap.
They're right with you. They're only a point behind you.
Well, we're crap. I mean, yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. We're a long way from anywhere being where we need to be anyway.
You are, but it kind of leads into today's game. It's a weird Manchester derby, this. You're bad. City have won 1 in 10.
Is this... Can you think of a time where Man U have played Man City and one of the teams has not been at the top? And I don't mean physically first. I mean probably the best team in the league. City have been the best team in the league for 8 years now. Not won every one, but I would say they won 4 in a row, and they won 2 before that. They won 6 out of 7, I think. So probably for the last 8 years, City have been the best team in the league. Up to Fergie leaving, United were the best team in the league most seasons. So when was the last time one of the Manchester clubs wasn't probably tipped for the title?
And you now go into it thinking...
Neither of them are even tipped for top 4 at the minute. I mean, we could both get relegated at this form we're on. The worst thing about it is we're in better form than City.
Well, yeah, because he's not won a game in a month.
1-2, drawn 1, lost 2, and they've lost 3, drawn 1, won 1. So we're actually better off than City at the minute in the last 5 games.
And still terrible.
And rubbish. So it's a Manchester derby and anything that can happen. I mean,
I think it's a game
even when City were flying, anything can happen, or when United are flying, anything can happen. Literally today, they're both as bad as each other. I mean, it could be the best. It could be an absolutely fantastic game if you're neutral.
I mean, it's always been a massive game, but in the context looking at both seasons right now, does it bring even more weight to it? City won 1 in 10. They need to get back on track. Manchester derby, great chance to do it. You beat City, all of a sudden, you've had a terrible start to the season. You look shambolic, but you'd probably only be about 4 points behind them, I think, if you beat them. So then all of a sudden, it flips your season. So,
I think the thing is for us, we've got to win because we can't afford to fall any further behind everybody else. I mean, people keep saying, oh, Forest will drop off, but they're currently 9 points in front of us. We can't afford to be letting teams like Forest get further ahead of us because there comes a point where they're not going to drop in. I mean, we're halfway through the season in 2 more games after this weekend. 3 more games after this weekend.
Yeah.
There comes a point where you've not got enough time to catch you up, no matter how big the gap is or little the gap is. We're Villa, all right. I look down, I think Villa, Brighton, Bournemouth, Fulham, Brentford, Newcastle, we should catch all of them if we finally turn up. But you can't let Forest get 10, 12 points in front of you because even though they're not a great side, 12 points is a lot to catch up when you're not particularly in form yourself. So,
I mean, you're talking...
There comes a point where you're looking at Forest and can we even catch them? So we're not catching Liverpool. We're not catching Chelsea at the minute. We're not catching Arsenal at the minute. Them 3 teams are gone. So basically, it's between us and City fighting for 4th at the minute. And if Tottenham decide to throw on a shirt and play every now and again.
And don't forget Notts Forest. They're still in there.
Forest are steaming it, aren't they? There comes a point where you think, well, can we even catch Forest? I mean, they lost to them, didn't we? So...
Yeah, you did. And they beat Liverpool.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I dread to think what does happen today. It could be anything, couldn't it? Literally, I can't think of a scoreline it's going to be. I mean, City have got to turn up at some point.
Is it at the Etihad?
Yes. Which we generally do better at.
Yeah, I've put 3-1 City, I won't lie. Because I think they're more likely to turn up and put things together than you are right now. I think there's more chance of if the new manager effect and the new system that he's playing with you causing a bigger problem in a game like that if everybody's not settled. I think
the only way I looked at it in a positive light from my point of view is our problems are not related to who is there and who's not there. Our problem, if you know what I mean. City's problems are down to Rodri missing, De Bruyne not being match fit, things that they can't fix today. Our problems aren't. Our problems are down to players'
lack of quality, talent, and ability.
There is, but we have got very good players there. There is very good players at Manchester United. They're not good enough, but there's very good players there. So all our players that we need are available to us pretty much. So we've got no excuses of saying, we can't play without him or can't play without. We should be able to put our strongest team out today, pretty much, I think. So we've got no excuses from that side of it. We should be able to play our best formation, our strongest team. We should be able to give this as good a go as possible. City can't. Rodri's not going to play. I don't know how fit De Bruyne is. If Gundogan, Lewis can't play because he got suspended, didn't he? Has he missed a game? Gundogan, and he can't play the two older lads in midfield again, so they'll just get run around. So City have got problems going into the game that I don't think they can fix prior to the game. So they've got to click as a unit that they are. We've got all our big guns, I'll call it. We've got no excuses not to fire. So, yeah, I just look at it and think, if we turn up, we've got everyone there.
Does Amorim know what his best 11 is, though, right now?
No. 100% doesn't. You can tell by the fact he makes so many changes.
Yeah.
I think he's definitely getting there because you're starting to see familiarities in each team. I think he thinks Højlund is his best striker. That's why he rested him on Thursday night and played Zerli. I think he knows his back three, which would be Mazraoui, De Ligt, and Martinez, with Yoro in and around to cover for one. I think he wants to get Dalot over on the right because he's been playing left back, but he hasn't got a fit left back. I think Malacia might play today. I think he may go Dalot, Mazraoui, De Ligt, Martinez, and Malacia, because Malacia played against Arsenal, played quite well. So I think he's got his back five. I think he knows who he wants to play there. I don't think he knows what they're doing in midfield because I don't think he can figure that bit out yet. Agate is probably our best midfielder at the minute. He seems to get everywhere when he's there. I don't think he knows who to play alongside him. Bruno doesn't do enough in there to be a box-to-box midfielder. Menu doesn't seem fit enough to play week in, week out at the minute. You can't play Casemiro and Agate and a back five because we're just playing too many holding players. You've got to have somebody get on the ball. Mount's never fit enough to play more than once a week. So I don't think he knows what to do in midfield at the minute. And the wide men are a problem because Ahmad plays either wing back or further forward. I think Ahmad's got to play further forward. And again, why does Rashford keep getting a game?
Well, he had a spell. He had a couple of decent games, and he scored a couple of goals.
But he's not good enough. You're not looking at him thinking he's back or he's up to standard. You look at Ahmad, who's 10 times a worse player quality-wise when it comes to like-for-like stats. He's working twice as hard as him, running twice as far as him, doing twice as much as him. So you can't play Rashford today for me unless he doesn't play a striker.
Well, to me, I mean, as a neutral, if I'm looking at your squad right now, and I'd play Ahmad and Garnacho.
I don't think I think Garnacho lacks the ability to track back, and Amorim has been adamant that that's something they've got to do.
But if you're playing five at the back, surely Garnacho doesn't have to come back as much. If you're playing a 3-5-2 or whatever, however you want to number it, 5-3-2, 3-5-2, however you want to call it, if you're playing three as your three men up top, surely Garnacho and one other can hold higher up the pitch and doesn't have to come back all the time.
I don't think that's his sort of style. I think it's we attack together, we defend together, and that's the way he's always done it. And he expects people to fall back when you're behind the ball. You're supposed to make the effort to get back into position. You're not supposed to be behind the ball. I think the problem you get is you're usually going to get somebody caught out of position when you're playing fullbacks up the pitch, because obviously they're wing backs, aren't they? Playing further forward. You sort of two inside wingers have got to be aware of that and cover. And Ahmad does cover on his side. So if Mazraoui bombs down the right, Ahmad will drop in and cover as a right wing back. Rashford won't on the other side. And Garnacho won't. We need somebody on that side that's a bit more diligent. Bruno doesn't. He does a bit, but not enough. We need somebody a bit more diligent on that side that notices when Malacia or someone gets caught up the pitch and will fill in for them to make the position work.
But right now, of the two people that can play out there, neither of them are going to do it. So for me, I'd still play Garnacho over Rashford because they've both got the same issue. Then neither of them's going to track back, and if neither of them's going to do it, I'd still rather have Garnacho on the pitch. I think.
Yeah, no, I tend to think that. I just think you've got to come up with a different solution to. Again, we're saying, well, if it's not working like that, we need to do something different, don't we? Don't just play the tactic because that's your tactic. If this is a problem, you need to do something different. So
yeah, true.
Think of a different solution to the problem. Whether you just go one up, one behind, and play sort of a wider four, or whether you go three in the middle so that you don't have. So like we've just said there, you can leave two up top because you've got three lads in. So play three midfielders and tell one of them to cover. So if you're the right midfielder and your wing back gets caught on the pitch, you fall over, and vice versa. Do something different. Don't just say, well, I've only got two players to play there, so I'm just going to have to play the best of a bad bunch, because you're carrying a player again, aren't you? And we've done that for too many seasons.
Oh yeah, I think defensively with who you've got on that left-hand side right now, your left side is being carried, or you're having to carry the left side because.
And I think we've done that for a while. We've done that for too long with under Ten Hag. To be fair to him, we're carrying the left side because you're almost going in with 10.5 players at the start of a game. So you want to need one player to have an off day. You want to need a midfielder to have Casemiro to have a bad day, and suddenly you're playing with 9.5 players, and straight away you're behind, aren't you? You're struggling to. You're not playing with a full complement of people that are working to the same level. And I think Ahmad's shown that by how hard he works and how much, just he's so. You can tell he's thinking about the game, makes the right. He doesn't make the right pass every time, but tends to make the right decision. He's in the right place when he needs to be. He's listening to what the coach is telling him to do. This is where I need you to be. This is the pass I want you to make. You kind of get the feeling that the guys on the other side are, I know what I'm doing, so I'll do me.
Yeah, a little bit. I think Ahmad's come into it a little bit. Obviously, he's got much less of an ego than with the people that's playing on your left-hand side, and he's playing it with a much more. I don't want to say naive because that's not the word I mean. He's just doing it from a less selfish perspective, and it's more about the team. Whereas Rashford looks at me, I'm Marcus Rashford, I'm the star. Yeah. Garnacho's got a little bit of that about him, that he thinks he's some, superstar.
And to be a superstar, you've got to have an ego. But to have an ego, you've got to be a superstar.
Yeah.
And, Ronaldo's got an ego, one of the biggest in the world, but he can back it up. If you're going to be Garnacho and you think you're the shit, then prove it on the pitch. Work hard both ways. Do what you've got to do to be the best player on the pitch. Don't go out there, I'm the best player on the pitch, and then only do what you want to do by, playing well when the ball's going forward, but letting it go past you the other way. That's not how you become the best player. Hard work will outwork the other two people on that pitch from Ahmad, because he will put a shift in, and so he'll play more games than he won't.
Oh, absolutely, and deserves to. Right now, he's from first 15 games of this season, he's been probably your most consistent player by far.
Well, he's our best player, and I said this under Ten Hag, was our best player for the first 5 games of the season. Then obviously something happened, they fell out, it all went wrong, and he got dropped. You can tell the difference when he's playing and when he's not playing. And there's certain things he does, and you just think he should have passed, he should have squared. I mean, he should have passed to Højlund the other day for a hat trick. He didn't. He took a shot, but you can't criticize everything he does. And
that again, there's experience in that as well. There's just
and he's not played at United very well. I know he's been at United
situations.
But if you look at how many games he's played for United in the time he's been there, it's hardly any, really. Let's be honest. He's never had a good run in the team, and he's now getting that. There's 1 or 2 positions at the minute I don't think he knows about, and we're struggling to pick the right player at the minute. But again, I mean, it's been there a month.
But I think he's struggling to pick the right player because in certain positions you don't currently have the right player.
No, we
don't. What he wants.
To be fair to Man United, it's a total new system. To have the players right for him was never going to happen, was it? We were always going to have this problem because we're playing so many different positions that we don't have. I mean, realistically, the 2 wing backs aren't particularly great. Ideally, you'd want a fully fit Luke Shaw, which is a 1 in a million shot.
Fully fit Luke Shaw.
I know. And you'd want Dalot that were any good.
Yeah.
But you haven't got, if we could get a fully fit Luke Shaw and a good right wing back or a world class right wing back, again, transforms your game, doesn't it? Because they're a threat both ways. Whereas at the minute, that's not quite the balance he's got. So,
well, no, because I think right now you've got more chance of this video being the most watched on YouTube ever than you have of getting a fully fit Luke Shaw.
Yeah, 100%.
It's just, it's not going to happen,
even
is
a
it? Let's be honest.
50% fit Luke Shaw that could play 50% of games a season to do, he can't even play that, So it's all right saying, again, we're going into it, we've got a system. He's going to have time to, I don't know, people say, oh, everyone spends money. We've got to buy the right players, haven't we?
Oh,
Again,
absolutely. There's no point just spending money for the sake of spending.
For 80 million quid because he's available. Do we need him? Is he the right player for us? As we've said with Arsenal, don't go and buy Declan Rice if you need, Isak. Buy the player you need.
Yeah, absolutely.
United are going to have to go out now, clear the dead wood, and buy the players that he needs. If he needs a left wing back and a right wing back, then that's what we go and buy. We don't go and buy another midfielder because he became available. We bought Rafael Varane and Casemiro because Real Madrid made him available, and we thought it were too good to turn down. And to be fair, they both had a first good season, and it's turned out to be pretty much a disaster after that because they're not the people we needed.
And they were too old, and they were past it, and Varane was fit probably less than
Luke
Luke Shaw.
Take into account, doesn't it? When you're buying those players, is he the person we need? Does he fit our? Every now and again, a player becomes available to you, or may become available, and you just think, yeah, you just take him. But was Casemiro really that player that United looked at and thought, we can't turn this away at 80 million quid?
No, it's what we said when we've said for months. It was panic stations at that point. It was anybody just get somebody in the door because we've got to make it look like we've signed a player this season.
Yeah, that's what they did.
But moving on from Manchester United, we have a strange scenario today. There are 2 7 o'clock kickoffs on a Sunday. What is that?
7
p.m. in the Premier League on a Sunday night.
7 p.m.
Yes.
Who?
That is a thing.
What?
Yep. So tonight we have Chelsea, Brentford, and Southampton, Tottenham at 7 p.m. on a Sunday night. So Tottenham fans have got to get from London to Southampton. I know it's not the biggest trip in the world, but it's not the easiest trip down to Southampton from there at 7 o'clock on a Sunday.
It could be made easier the fact that they're not working. They're working. Most people are working in the morning, 6 a.m. The match is not going to finish while at least 7 p.m. When's the game ever kicked off at 7 p.m. on any day?
I don't know. And they're not on Sky, so I'm guessing this is an Amazon, Netflix, BT, TNT. I don't know. Somebody's bought the rights to these games and we're showing them at 7 p.m. on a Sunday.
Don't they just fucking do anything for money, these fuckers, won't they? Anything for money.
I mean, Chelsea by that time at least will know what's happening in the Manchester derby, so it will mean they're either, well, they'll still be ahead of Man City actually before it kicks off anyway. But yeah, I just found that really, really strange that we're now doing Sunday night games at 7 p.m.
Yeah, Southampton, Spurs, Chelsea, Brentford, 7 p.m.
I mean, Chelsea, Brentford, at least it's all in London, so they're not travelling that far. But I just thought the Southampton Spurs one's just...
When the fuck has there ever been a 7 o'clock game on a Sunday night?
I didn't even know there'd ever been anything past 4:30. But yeah, it's just another one of these strange modern things. I mean, so I'm guessing it's for TV rights. I'm guessing somebody's got some fixtures left to use, so they've just moved them there. Probably Amazon, because it's around Christmas and they get the games. So yeah, we've now got 2 games then.
No idea. I mean, obviously, it's just on the same channel over here for everybody, so I have no idea. But that's just mental, isn't it? I mean, you're not happy if you're a Brentford fan or
a Tottenham fan that's got to go with Southampton.
Tottenham fan.
Like it kicks off at 7, 7:45. Game won't finish while 9 at the earliest. I don't know how long it is from North London to Southampton, but I'm guessing it's a couple of hours at least.
A couple of hours, isn't it? Yeah.
So you're going to get home at midnight if you're
traffic, lucky. But I mean, it's even the whole idea of it. I mean, who thought that? Why didn't they just play on last night? If you're going to do stupid, why don't they do an 8 o'clock Saturday kickoff and at least make it so people are going to attend?
Chelsea had been in Europe, so couldn't play before Sunday, maybe.
I mean, no one cares.
No.
People care. Just past caring about it now. Why? Just fucking play football and shut up. Maybe they want to play none of. Who did they play?
I don't know. They were in Russia.
In Russia?
No, sorry, they were in Kazakhstan. They were next to Russia. Apologies, they weren't in Russia because Russia aren't allowed in it. They played in Kazakhstan at 3 o'clock on Thursday, if I remember rightly.
Well, they played early enough. I mean, it's not like they're flying Ryanair, is it?
They played Astana.
Don't know who they are.
No, they're in Conference League, though, aren't they? So I don't know any of the teams that's in that competition. But yeah.
Oh, Chelsea in Conference League?
Chelsea are, yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest, right? If you're in Conference League, I wouldn't even be flying any of my players out there.
I refuse to go. I'm not bothered.
I just sent under 21s. Why would you fly your first team out there to play in Conference League? Just rest.
And I'm guessing they've already qualified.
I mean, you're not telling me that your under 21s can't beat Astana, a team that no one's ever heard of before. I mean, if they can't, sack your 21s. They're useless.
Well, they've got plenty to go at Chelsea, so they could attend whichever squad they wanted.
Send a second first team, couldn't they? Or the first, they could send the loan E team. I'm sure they've got about 40 of them out on loan.
And then kind of the last thing that happened in football this week was the World Cup qualifying draw was done.
Hold on a minute. Weren't the World Club Cup drawn as well?
Oh, that was last week. We discussed that last week that we didn't care about. I then posted it on our socials this week because literally I said, we don't really care, but here's a look at it if anybody wants to see it.
It kept me up that. I couldn't get over it.
And funnily enough, nobody wanted to see it because not one person even cared to comment on the fact that the World Club Cup had been drawn. Nobody cared.
Even I didn't comment. And I
exactly. But yes, so our World Cup draw, qualifying draw.
Well, you texted me the other day saying it's been drawn, so I purposely avoided it so I could be surprised right today. So come on, hit me.
So, Serbia.
And
Albania.
Montenegro, or are they separate to Montenegro now?
No, Montenegro's now its own country. You're going back a lot of years.
Is it?
Yeah.
All right.
Albania. Latvia. And funnily enough, it actually gets worse at this point. Andorra.
Latvia? Andorra?
I mean, Andorra's a place in Spain, let's be honest. It's not well, it is a country, but it's an archipelago in Spain.
Is it?
Yeah,
it's like Monaco. So I've got Andorra.
Latvia. Albania.
What the
and Serbia. I mean, I'm now going to say the same thing for Tuchel as I did for Carsley. How the hell are you supposed to judge that?
I mean, why is this football that anyone wants to watch? I mean, you kind of think you might get to play Serbia once in a World Cup or something because they probably do qualify every now and again.
Yeah, they will. They do get occasionally into tournaments.
I mean, have we played Latvia before? I can't remember coming across Latvia.
I don't remember us ever playing Latvia, if I'm honest.
Doesn't it snow a lot in Latvia?
I don't even know where Latvia is.
No, I don't either.
I think it's near Estonia, but I could be wrong.
I don't know where that is. So it's never really down for me. Literally, just named two countries I've heard of and never fucking got a clue where they were. I mean, I didn't know Latvia played.
I think they're near Russia, but yeah.
Wow.
But yes, so I just looked at that draw, and obviously because we're in pot one, we're always going to get a reasonably easy draw. You're going to get, some of the worst teams in Europe to qualify against. But I just looked at that and I was like, one, I don't want to watch it. And two, if Tuchel doesn't win every game in that...
So this is to qualify for America, which starts in 18 months?
Yes.
So you qualify if you win, do you qualify if you're second?
No, because of the new format now, there's only the top one is guaranteed to qualify. Which if it isn't us out of that, then it's time to give up.
So the top one qualifies. Yes. There's not 60-odd teams in the next World Cup.
48, 42, 40.
Would it not have made sense to just qualify the top two from every group?
No, because most of the extra berths have not gone to Europe. They've gone to Asia and Americas because Europe already gets the most amount of berths.
So are Miami FC in the World Cup?
Possibly, because they'll get invited by Infantino when he wakes up one morning.
You are Reds and all these other teams are going to be in as well because they've got some money. I bet Hilal FC will be in, won't they? Because they've got.
And then, speaking of money and still on the World Cup, Saudi Arabia have been handed the 2030 World Cup.
What, officially?
As well, I'm not sure if it's come out officially yet, but it's basically going to happen. because they've decided
that's the place everyone wants to go to watch the World Cup. The epicenter of fuck all.
We've done Qatar, so now we're going to do Saudi Arabia.
But so where does Ronaldo play? Does he play Saudi Arabia?
Sorry?
Does Ronaldo play in Saudi Arabia?
Yes. Which, if you remember, back when his contract started, part of his thing was he has to get the World Cup in Saudi Arabia. And funnily enough, he's achieved it. Almost instantaneously.
And they want us to believe that this is not fixed. I mean, when was last time they had World Cup in a place where it should be? I mean, why is it in America? Not even any good at football.
But then, the one in between. So hang on, we're doing. Is it 20? So it could be 2034 Saudi Arabia potentially, actually, because the other one is Spain, Portugal, Morocco, Uruguay.
What?
Obviously, the 2030 World Cup is 100 years since the first World Cup, isn't it? It was 1930, the first World Cup that Uruguay won.
Right.
So the first game is going to be played in Uruguay. Just because.
You're winding me up now, aren't you?
No.
And then we're
going to come back here and do the World Cup in Spain, Portugal, and Morocco.
I mean, I've got so many questions, right? Why Morocco? Why Spain and Portugal fine next to each other, great footballing nations. Why fucking Morocco?
Because they're next door to Spain. They're just a bit down.
But when you say next door, it's in Africa.
Well, yeah, but you can literally from the
continent.
From the Strait of Gibraltar, you can literally see Morocco. It's right there.
I don't even know. And why are we in Uruguay again?
Because they won the first World Cup. So the opening game is going to be played there.
So is this like the Club World Cup where you get like benefits for it years after? So they won the
years later.
World Cup, and 100 years later, they're going to open this one, I take it?
Yeah, they're going to open the 2030 World. Well, I don't know if they'll open it, but the first game will be there.
I take it Uruguay are going to play in that game, otherwise this is totally fucked up.
No, because they might not qualify. They don't qualify. It's just going to be anybody. It might be England versus Scotland.
So it could be Morocco versus Portugal in Uruguay when Morocco and Portugal are hosting it. Yeah. I mean,
have
you thought this through? So if Uruguay don't qualify, we're going to have the worst ceremony in the world. Let's celebrate Uruguay winning the World Cup for 100 years, play the first game in your home country, and you're not there. Come on. This can't be for real. You're just winding me. I'm going to have to Google this when I've done on here.
No, genuinely it is. The opening game will be played in Uruguay, and then the rest of the tournament comes back over here. Spain, Portugal, Morocco. But then the 2026 World Cup's in 3 countries.
So I take it this FIFA being net zero by 2030 is out the window, because how are they going to account for this? Because they're going to fly probably 300 people more to Uruguay from Morocco, which is obviously the epicenter of football now, to play one game to fly them all back for the rest of the tournament.
Absolutely.
Because Uruguay won't be there, probably.
But even if they are, Spain or Portugal or Morocco will be classed as the hosts, will be drawn in A1.
Who's the host nation then? Because you can't have 3 host nations, because don't the host nations automatically qualify, or is that gone as well now?
Usually, yeah, but I don't know how they've decided it for the next World Cup. I think America have been given the automatic one for the next one, because it's mainly in America.
They definitely won't qualify. The worst World Cup ever.
But then I think, are they playing some games in Canada and some in Mexico? For the 26th World Cup? I don't know. It's all become just a mess, if I'm quite honest.
The only thing went on in Mexico is a lot of drugs. I didn't realise they played football.
Well, to be fair, Mexico do qualify for most World Cups. Let's be honest. They are there nearly every time.
Did they qualify for this one? I don't remember seeing Mexico.
But they've not started doing the qualifying, but...
No, the last one. Last World Cup, Mexico weren't there, were they?
Can't remember, if I'm honest. No, because United States weren't they? Because we played them, maybe?
I'm guessing we didn't beat them.
Can't actually remember, if I'm completely honest. But yeah, so it's... Host countries, Canada, Mexico, United States, but I don't know how they've decided to
get a little bit concerned here, because you've not gone, I'm just kidding. Like, this is genuinely a real thing. Like, we are going to play the first game in Uruguay.
Oh, yeah, I'm not. There's no joke involved here. This is not
Why am Morocco involved? Why would you pick Spain, Portugal, and Morocco? Why did they pick France? We're going to pick countries. I mean, Morocco's all.
There's an underhanded reason for it.
No, there's not, is there? In FIFA?
There is.
Oh, let me fall off my chair in shock.
So, because obviously, usually the World Cup moves continents, doesn't it? So you'll do a European one, an American one, an African one, and then an Asian one in that sort of order. The next one is a Euro-African World Cup, so that's why we can go straight back to Asia. Because bear in mind, you've got to think that the 2022 World Cup was in Asia.
What to just...
Well, 2022 was Asia. 2026 is America. Yeah. 2030 then becomes the European African World Cup, so we don't have to do one before we can go back to Asia. Because we've skipped out a continent. So that's how Saudi Arabia now gets the 2034 World Cup.
What is going on here? I mean...
And nobody else has tried to enter it as far as I'm aware, so Saudi Arabia will just be given the World Cup.
Well, they realise there's fucking no point because it's rigged.
No, it's not rigged. It's democratic and voted for properly.
By people that fix shit.
By people that have been paid to vote in a certain way.
Absolute bellend, all of them. Utter fools, lot of them.
So it's just pathetic.
Well, you've managed to shock me again for another week. We're going to play a game in Uruguay.
So we're going to play a bunch of ranked nobodies to get to the 2026 World Cup, and then after that, we're just going to move the World Cup round according to whoever wants to play.
You know what's going to happen, don't you? England are going to play the first game in Uruguay, aren't they? And get beat because we're going to have to fly fucking 14 hours to play a game in the middle of nowhere we've never been before. And
at least it might make the time zone good for you to watch it. Although I've no idea the difference between Uruguay and Australia.
Of all, I'm figuring out times I do know. We aren't figuring that one out. God.
It won't even be the same day, I don't think.
It won't even be the same week, I don't think. If it starts on a Saturday, I'll be on Monday. Fucking hell. Uruguay for one game. So is this going to happen? So whoever won the 1934 World Cup, do they get to play a game, or is it just the first one?
No, because it's just we're then going to Saudi Arabia after that. It's basically because it's 100 years since the first, because they won the very first World Cup, didn't they? But it's 100 years since the first one.
There'll be nobody there at this game that was at the first game. Can I just add? Nobody.
Funnily enough, not the one.
No one's going to give a flying fuck, are they? There'll be nobody. Anyone old enough to go to that first game, not going to be at this one. So no one's going to care. You know?
No.
It's not like it was 10 years ago and you think, oh, this is nice centenary. Everyone that went can go to this one. Nobody that were in stands at that game is going to this one.
The stand probably doesn't even exist 100 years later.
You know, that's blown out the water, isn't it? Straight away.
Yeah.
So it's only sentimental reasons for a lot of people that aren't here no more.
Well, it's sentimental reasons just for FIFA, let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's just them making it look like they're doing good things.
And it wouldn't be so bad if Uruguay was still a great side and you thought, well, you know, it'd be a great place to have the World Cup and take the World Cup back there. I could have, if they'd done that, then fine. At least there's some reason for going there. We're having one game.
Yep.
At the other side of the world. Literally a World Cup. In every sense of the word.
But like you say, I mean, whoever goes out there's then got to fly all the way back to Europe. I mean, what do you normally get off about 3 or 4 days, I think, between groups in World Cup? Obviously, with extended format, it might be a little bit longer. But at least you've got to fly all the way to Uruguay and fly all the way back and play a game in between and train.
Martin Keown, if fucking hell, we hope none of his players try to make that trip. He will have a meltdown. Player welfare. Woof. Fucking hell. All gone to shit. Yeah, that's done me, that one.
And I suppose we ought to just touch on before we finish for the day. The back end of the end of the Formula One season was last weekend. Obviously, we went off air before it ended, and we're now done. McLaren are constructors' champions. Max is the drivers' champion, and Perez doesn't know if he's got a job.
Well, he hasn't got a job, has he? There's more.
Well, the meeting was Monday, and the meeting was Monday about whether he was still keeping his job, and there's been no announcement since. So we don't know.
Thinking of a good way to save all the sponsorship money, aren't they? That they'll probably get from him.
Yeah, because there's rumours Sonoda's test went quite well during the week. Because obviously there was the Abu Dhabi post-season test. Apparently, Tsunoda did quite well. Lawson's still tipped as the favourite. Hadjar won't return to his F2 team, apparently, so that looks like this thing's been put in place to move the drivers round, but nobody's decided who or what or why or when. So we're all just living in limbo,
don't they? And then I got about 10 weeks till they start testing again.
February, end of February, basically. I think it's last week of February, so whatever that is till now. 2 weeks to end the year.
Oh, maybe 11 weeks.
Yeah. Might want to get decided because you're going to need to start fitting the person in the car.
So come on then. Turn 1. Local dickhead has another crash. What's your take on it? Because you're more diplomatic than me.
What the actual is he doing?
I've no idea.
That movie's never on. All he's done is thought, I don't care, my season's over, I'll send it, and if we crash, I couldn't give a shit.
Which he
I'm not going to back out of it.
21 because he was winning.
And literally, I've just sent it. I mean, and I saw people saying, well, it's partly Piastri's fault. He left the door open. No, he didn't. He just drove around the corner on the line he's supposed to do. Max mounted a curb and then understeer it clean into him because he didn't care.
The thing for me is I can deal with the accident. I just can't deal with the arrogant prick after it on the radio saying, why didn't they give me 20 seconds? I mean, if I'm the FIA, I just tend to park up. It's just not.
Funnily enough, let him get away with that. So he called them all stupid idiots and being a dick for giving him a penalty, and they've just let him get away with it.
So swearing in a press conference gets you a massive fine, but calling the people that run the sport stupid idiots is fine.
Yeah.
What's the precedent setting there? He's an absolute moron. I hate the guy. Can't stand him. If he wins another one, I'm stopping watching it.
I mean, it's a shame he's the way he is because his talent is undeniable, his ability is undeniable, but he's just so unlikable as a human.
I just don't care. I don't care how talented he is or how good he is. There's so many talented drivers in F1, and I have no problem praising them. They don't have to be English for me to praise people. I've gone through a number of them, and they're not English. Most of the ones that are English are crap, to be fair. Most of the best drivers in F1 are not English, but he's just a knobhead, and I can't stand him.
And it was the attitude that he went into it with of, I've won everything that I want to win. I can't win constructors, so I don't really care if I have an accident. And I don't like that.
And the way he said it afterwards, as soon as he said that afterwards, because he blamed Piastri for a start, I'm like, how can that guy do anything different to what he did? He didn't even. I mean, it's not a corner where you particularly turn in on someone, is it? It's quite a fluid corner.
Yeah.
So it was just on the racing line.
And he just careens into him.
Which is fine. You have an accident. Right, hold your hand up and say, yeah, my fault. But to come on the radio after just shows what a prick he is. Can't stand the man.
Yeah, I didn't. He massively let himself down. Well, the move was never on. It was never going to work. So that's a massive mistake, if you want to call it that start. I think he just went in with an attitude of, I don't care, but I can't prove that. But then, like I said, after it, I was like, you don't need to say that. You don't need to do that. You've really just been an absolute idiot now.
Just being cocky now on purpose, isn't it?
I mean, the penalty is 100% accurate and right and had to be given and deserved. So stop complaining about it. You've wiped another car out.
But you should get a penalty. Well, you should get reprimanded for what he did after. You can't go out calling. Yeah. I mean, no, they are. Don't get me wrong. They are fucking idiots that run the sport. But you can't be seen to be on a radio calling them fucking idiots or stupid idiots or whatever you call them. You can't be doing that.
No.
That's just. I can because I don't work for him. He can't.
Well, apparently he can and got away with it.
Oh, yeah. Can't swear in a press conference, but he can call anyone names he wants to. I mean, so McLaren won the construct. What do you think to Lewis leaving? Well, that was quite good at the end.
No, it wasn't good.
No? Not happy?
The man isn't retiring. He isn't dying. He's moving teams. Why has he got his own special slot on the grid and waving and doing donuts? You're moving teams.
I was more referring to the Toto Wolff comments to him and the radio message at the end. I didn't see that bit. Slots on the grid. What was that?
So literally, at the end of the race, the top three drive and they do their interviews. Lewis Hamilton got his own specific board to go and park up at. And he did donuts on thing, and he stood waving to the crowd, and everybody's going, "Oh, it's amazing." No, he's moving teams. He's not retiring. Fine, they did it for Alonso, they did it for Vettel when they retired from the sport. I get it. Big champions, had a long career, give him a send-off. He's moving to Ferrari. He'll be back in 3 months. Why do we need all this?
No, I agree with that. To be fair, I didn't watch that. I was talking about the radio messages between him and the team and things like that. I thought that was quite a nice moment.
Yeah, and the little strap thing they did on his steering wheel, which brought up a picture and all that. Yeah, that's fine. I don't have an issue with that. That's between the team.
Taking it too far.
Involving the whole. I mean, it was literally arranged by the FIA and the stewards. They literally set him up a place and everything.
That's Americanizing the Formula One, isn't it? It's all about the grand agenda, making it a big event. I suppose that's what the Americans do, isn't it? They just
weird.
It's not about the sport. I mean, it puts into perspective how important the race was. Really, that the most important thing was that Lewis was changing teams.
Yeah, and we made a massive deal of it, and I mean a massive, massive deal over it. And I just thought it was so unnecessary and so unneeded.
Yeah,
the end of that race.
You know, when I talk about people I don't like, Zach Brown, he's a sound bloke. I mean, you know, you like the way he goes about his day and the way he deals with things. I think he's deserves to win something, not Christian Horner.
Yeah, he's very good at the media. He's very good at what he does. He's very good at getting people on side. He's very good at getting people to buy into his project. Christian Horner's not good at any of that.
No. Is he English, Christian Horner?
Unfortunately, yes. He is one of ours.
A surprise.
He's not particularly likable. But having said, we always slag off Christian Horner. I don't think Toto Wolff's a particularly likable man. You know, he's very... He's from the same pot as Horner.
You say about football.
He's Austrian.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Shit. Well, you're not saying it because of that, then. Is he not German?
No.
That's an Austrian become the head of Mercedes.
Let's not go back down the route of the Austria-Germany links.
Yeah, probably a cancellation button in there somewhere.
Yeah, that's heading down a dangerous territory. Let's not go down that one. Because you will say something you're not supposed to.
Oh, dear. Moving swift, I've watched any NFL recently.
I've watched all the NFL. I've watched the highlights this morning of the really bad game from Thursday night.
Oh, yeah, it finished. Fucking hell. I watched the entire rerun of the game. Well, the entire game, actually. Fucking hell.
San Francisco against...
I think that's probably the worst NFL game I've watched this season.
Yeah. So, obviously, I've only been watching this season, and that is the first game I've watched 48 minutes of and thought, God, this is dull.
Yeah. It was literally...
It was so bad.
I mean, a few people have now qualified, haven't they, for the playoffs?
The Chiefs have, the Eagles have, the Lions have.
There was Detroit are literally
11-1.
the form team, aren't they?
Are they 11-1 or 10-1?
I think they're 11-1. I think I'm just looking here.
And they this weekend play the Buffalo Bills, who are also one of the form teams. Yeah, so Buffalo Bills are 10-3.
So the Chiefs and the Lions are both 12-1.
How are the Chiefs? Right. How are the Chiefs 12-1? How? It's just not possible, is it?
They're just literally like Man City were last year, to keep winning stuff. Yeah, I mean, where's so who else was really? So the NFC South is basically a comedy league. There's only one team with a winning record, and nobody wants to win that. The Lions are running away from everyone else. So the Vikings are only 11-2. I mean, that's a mental division.
You know, one team that has kind of gone backwards fast. The Baltimore Ravens, they were 7-1 at one point.
Then because they were, they're miles behind the Steelers, aren't they? 8-5. So they're not catching. They could catch him, I suppose. Yeah. I mean, most of the divisions are quite close, except for the Chiefs division, which is, they're miles clear. The Bills are doing well. I see Dolphins. I mean, we're just...
The Eagles are miles clear now as well. You've got to think at one point, the Commanders were 7-2. I think when we were 7-2, it's now 11-2, plays 8-5.
Didn't you say you'd watched them and they've played really well, and then since then they've been really bad?
Yes, so there were a Commanders game, and I'm like, they were looking really, really good. Ever since I said those exact words, they've been
nothing's gone well. So your boys are qualifying then, aren't they?
Yeah, already through.
I think. Oh, have they gone through already?
The Eagles are already in the playoffs.
So the Dolphins are not going to get there by the looks of it because there's too many other good teams.
Well, you're not out of it, but you've got a 6. The league they're in though is horrendous because you've got the Jets and the Patriots, and they're horrendous.
Yeah, and we've still managed to be rubbish. But it's a very odd American way of doing things, isn't it? Because technically, you don't play the team. You only play the team in your division. I mean, I think they played 4 out of 13 games. They played 4 in the same division.
Yeah, something like that. But I mean, we've got a repeat of the Wembley game this weekend. So you remember when obviously it came to the UK middle of last month, early October even. The Jets and the Jaguars both are 3-10. What a wonderful game that's going to be.
So the 49ers and the Rams. Oh, the Rams did score again. So nobody got a touchdown in that game, did they?
No, it was just terrible. It was truly woeful.
Shit. Saints and the Commanders, I'm not worried about that. Chiefs will beat the Browns because the Browns are bad. Dolphins are playing the Texans. Maybe we'll get a win finally. Jets and Jaguars. There's some bad games. Panthers and Cowboys. When the Cowboys, I tipped them for the title, and the quarterback got injured about 14 minutes later, and they're fucked. Their quarterback's throwing chocolate bars rather than a football. He don't know where they got him from. And again, you know what I don't understand about American sport? The quarterback is the most important position. Why do none of them have one that's a backup that's any good? I mean, I understand
because they pay that much for the quarterback that they can't afford.
You can't tell me that there's not a better system that can get you. I mean, every reserve quarterback that comes in, it's like they're throwing concrete blocks.
And you've never heard of them.
Between the starting quarterback and the second quarterback it's like bringing a striker on when you've got him at League Two. It's like, where the fuck's this guy come from?
And Odell Beckham has parted with Miami Dolphins, by the way.
I think his days were gone. Oh, Lions and the Bills, that's the game to watch.
That's the game. That's the game of the weekend, really. But having said that, then the Steelers play the Eagles.
Well. Yeah, that's the game. So they're the 2 games. They're on tonight for you?
They're Sunday night, 9:25 tonight.
So I'll watch them tomorrow. So they're the 2 games to watch tomorrow. I've got access to them all at the minute, so yeah, I'll be watching them too.
But yeah, so there's 3 weeks left of the regular season, so I think the final game is like New Year's Eve.
Yeah, something like that. I think. Did we say it was New Year's Eve or just into the New Year? But something like that, yeah. I think the last game might be early in the New Year, is it?
Yeah, it's either New Year's Eve or early first week of the New Year.
You'll get your first taste of Christmas Day football, then, won't you?
I will. Yes, which I find very unusual.
Concept. It actually gives you something to watch on Christmas Day other than reruns of Only Fools and Horses. Yes, I like it when the playoffs get going because obviously it means a little bit more, and it's not the full American 7-game series type playoffs where you think, fucking hell, this goes on forever.
And Miami won't be in it.
Well, it'd save them losing in the snow somewhere because obviously the weather in America. I mean, it's only when you watch NFL can you see the difference in weather in America. How it's 84 degrees in Miami and there's 6 inches of snow in Buffalo, and you're like, what the fuck's going on in this country?
Crazy, isn't it?
It's mental, isn't it?
The other thing that's crazy is, which I forgot to bring up the other week, I think I'm right in saying it's the Dallas Cowboys Stadium.
Yes.
Which idiot designed that? Because there's a big hole in one end and the sun comes through it and blinds everybody.
Oh, well, they said the other day that the Dallas Cowboys haven't played a game with the roof open for 3 years. And when they opened the roof fell off. The piece fell off the roof and nearly killed the woman that was presenting the show. A big sheet of metal falls down onto the floor. So they shut the roof again. I mean, I'm not very good on meteorological things, but the weather can't be that bad in Dallas. They can't open the roof for 3 years. I mean, how bad is it?
The weather's beautiful in Dallas. It's Southern America. Well, it's more towards the southern border. It's hot there. But I'm sure it's the Cowboy Stadium where one end's got a big hole in it, and when it's winter time.
Well, they do this I've got to admit, the new American NFL stadiums are unbelievable. I mean, they make our football stadiums look like fucking being built in the 70s. They're just that's SoFi Stadium, because I didn't realize 2 teams play there, the Chargers
and the Rams.
And the Rams play there. Their stadiums are just mental. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, they are.
I mean, that SoFi Stadium is just on another thing to anything we've ever seen. I mean, if they're going to start bringing stuff from America into this game, can we have those stadiums? Because they are unreal.
Yeah, we don't want the rest of it. Just your stadiums will do nicely.
But I don't understand why the Cowboys don't open the roof.
Because it falls off when they do.
When they do, it was like, can the weather be that bad? I mean, the Bills, where it seems to snow every fucking minute, don't have a roof. I mean, I've only been watching NFL properly 2 years, and I've seen 2 Buffalo games where in any other sport you wouldn't play. And one day they didn't actually play because it was that deep. You couldn't even see the stadium. It just covered the lot.
Do you find it quite impressive though? That, I mean, the last 2 weeks there were like 4 foot of snow and they just carried on.
Just keep going. Yeah. It's like no matter. I mean, the game is horrendous because you've got no idea what's fucking going on. I mean, the commentator said the Bills have realised when it snows that if you run in one direction fast, the other team can't turn fast enough. So what they do is they were giving the ball to him and saying run that way. By the time the team could turn and shift and run across, you'd already run past them because they can't do it in the snow. Like, that's a big advantage, isn't it? Obviously, you've been training in the snow for the last week. Miami rock up when it's never snowed ever. I can't even turn, so they just ran past them. Fantastic. Great tactics. It's not quite Pep tactics. It's more Sam Allardyce tactics, I think, isn't it?
And so there's not much science involved, just running a straight line.
They won literally because they know how to play in the snow and somebody else doesn't.
Yeah. Oh, it's a great advantage.
So yeah, Lions, Bills, Eagles, Steelers, are both at the same time as well, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Right, that's it then. Happy days. See how we go.
And I think for today, I'm going to say that that's a wrap.
Sure is, my friend.
So we shall catch up with you all very soon.
See you later.